can see from the list, we have participants from UIN, Sultan Sharif Kasim Riau. Welcome to our forum.
Welcome
to all our partners from Ministry of Higher Education. We have also participants from Universitas Islam Bandung, and also our partners, IPTS, stakeholders. We also have participants from Technology College Sarawak, UPSI. This is attendees that I can see from the attendees. Thank you everyone for joining us this morning. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hello everyone. Welcome to today's University for Society U4S Forum Series 3 entitled Leaving No One Behind, Sustaining Sustainability for Diverse and Dispersed Community. I am Norazia Abdul Wahab, Director of UNIMAS Community Sustainability Center, University Malaysia Sarawak, UNIMAS, the moderator for today's session. I wish everyone happy Eid Mubarak, Salam Aidilfitri, and also happy Pesta Keamatan for all our Dayaks friends who are celebrating the festival today. Firstly, I would like to thank Industry and Community Collaboration Division, Department of Higher Education, Ministry of Education Malaysia, and UCTC UPM, the U4S Secretariat, for giving this opportunity for UNIMAS to organize this third series of U4S Forum. I would like to also thank all our audience today from national and international organizations for taking your time out and being here with us this morning. I have few housekeeping to cover before the forum. We'll be running 4 segments of this forum with 2 segments of panelist session to share about their thoughts and insights on the topics of discussion. There will be slots of Q&A after the first segment of the panelist session and a live Q&A at the end of the forum. So I hope our audience will stay with us until the end of this forum so that you can have live communication with our panelists. We have enabled our Q&A feature. It is on your right-hand side of your screen on the WebEx platform. You can also post your questions on the chat box, also on our UNIMAS Facebook Live and UNIMAS YouTube channel. So ladies and gentlemen, just a brief overview about University for Society. University for Society U4S is an initiative by the Ministry of Higher Education Malaysia, which aims to sustain the collaboration between university, government, industry, and community that will help to empower the community and bring direct impact and outcomes in terms of knowledge exchange, behavioral change, skills, and aspirations. Today's forum, we will deliberate further on strategies that align with Sustainable Development Goals (SDG) to sustain the diverse and dispersed community in three focus areas, namely on SDG 4 on quality education, SDG 8 on decent work and economic growth, as well as SDG 3 on good health and well-being. During this discussion, we hope to generate ideas and also suggestions for community outreach and development program for post-COVID-19 also. And we surely welcome suggestions from our audience as well to the topic of discussion. You are invited to post your suggestions in the chat box available on the WebEx platform. So let's proceed with our forum today. I am pleased to welcome our panelists for this session. We have three panelists for this forum. We have yang berbahagia Profesor Dr. Ahmad Hatta Rashid, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic and International of University Malaysia Sarawak. We also have yang berusaha Dr. Zaidi Raza, General Manager of Sarawak Multimedia Authority. We have Dr. Amelia Madihi, Deputy Dean, Industry Community Engagement, and also Senior Lecturer at Faculty of Cognitive Sciences and Human Development, University of Malaysia Sarawak. Introducing our first speaker, yang berbahagia Profesor Dr. Ahmad Hatta Rashid. Professor Dr. Ahmad Hatta Rashid is a Professor of Orthopedics at the Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences, UNIMAS. He is appointed as the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic and International since 1st May 2019. His research's focus areas are the orthopedics problem, especially spine tuberculosis. I hope I pronounce it correct, Prof. And general pediatrics orthopedics, and recently on wound healing and antimicrobial peptide. Apart from providing the clinical service, he also contributed significantly on the administration of the university and was previously the Dean, Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences. He has also contributed to medical profession and was appointed as a member of the Malaysian Medical Council by the Minister of Malaysian Ministry of Health to maintain high standards of medical practices in Malaysia. Welcome, Yang Berbahagia Prof. Hatta, to our forum this morning.
Yeah. Thank you, Anwar.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. Our second speaker, yang berusaha Dr. Zaidi bin Razak. Dr. Zaidi holds a PhD in image processing and a master's degree on research in chip design as well as Bachelor of Computer Science. He has vast industrial experience that he was the Commissioner at Malaysia Communication and Multimedia Commission, Head Digital Transformation Section, and was a programmer in Building Department, Telkom Malaysia. Currently, Dr. Zaidi is the General Manager of Sarawak Multimedia Authority, SMA, that spearheads the digital economy initiatives in the state. He has also received tremendous awards and recognitions at national and international level, that he had won numerous gold awards at the International Invention, Innovation and Technology Exhibition, including the British Invention Award. Thank you, Dr. Zaidi, for taking your time out today, being with us. Selamat Hari Raya Aidilfitri.
Selamat Hari Raya. Thank you.
Our third speaker, Dr. Amelia binti Madihi, my dear friend. Thank you for being here with us. Dr. Amelia is the founder for Coffee Talk by Dr. Emma and the gang. She holds a PhD in Guidance and Counseling, Master of Science in Professional Counseling, and a bachelor degree in Cognitive Science. Dr. Amelia is also an executive member of Pertama, which is the Persatuan Counseling Malaysia Antarabangsa. She had won numerous gold medal awards at various counseling international innovation, as well as invention and innovation awards for her research products. Thank you, Emma. So I shall address you as Dr. Emma this morning.
Oh, yes, please. Thank you.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, moving on to our topic of discussion this morning. At this stage in the global pandemic, we know for a fact that the crisis is teaching us, the global citizen, the utmost value in being each other's keeper, in leaving no one behind, and in prioritizing the needs of the most vulnerable community, which are diverse and dispersed in terms of background and locality. The COVID-19 has resulted in schools shut all across the world. Globally, based on UNESCO, which was published recently in end of April 2020 on the World Economic Forum, it stated about 1.38 billion learners impacted by national schools closure worldwide, ranging from pre-primary education up until tertiary education levels. As a result, education has changed dramatically with the distinctive rise of e-learning. I believe all universities, all schools are embarking on online learning, whereby teaching and learning is undertaken remotely and on digital platforms. However, there are challenges to overcome because we know that some students without reliable internet access and or technology struggle to participate in digital learning. There is a significant gap, no doubt, between those from privileged and disadvantaged background in having appropriate digital equipment for online learning. So in order to deliberate further on this discussion about the gaps between the privileged and disadvantaged students, let's welcome Yang Berbahagia Prof. Dr. Hatta to share with us on his views on the needs of online education and strategies to adopt to this, and also to ensure that no one is left behind in the knowledge acquisition during this global pandemic. So over to you, Yang Berbahagia Prof.
Terima kasih, I think, Azia, for the introduction and as well as, I think, organizing this forum for all of us. The question addressed to me is very challenging, in which that to ensure no one left behind is not an easy task to do. As we know that the knowledge acquisitions, I think during this pandemic, we need to do a better strategy, not only in individuals, but as a part of national level and globally. So in order to make sure that how we come up with a good strategy to make sure that knowledge acquisitions given to all the students in this globe. Actually, we need to learn from previous pandemics that we learned previously. As we can see in the previous pandemic, can you move the slide down? We learned from the SARS, in which the SARS happened in 2002, and I think the situation is controlled after 2 years. In which that they are involved in 26 countries, and then 8,000 cases been involved mainly in China, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Singapore, and Canada, other countries, but not really affected. In this situation, what we learn, what the countries learn that affected by SARS, even Malaysia itself, I think in Kuching, in UNIMAS, during that time, I'm the coordinator for orthopedic posting, and in which that all of my students unable access to the hospital. So the guideline must be clear. I think when the situation of like this SARS, then make the school or university during the SARS, the teachers, most of teachers, lecturers, and even the student unprepared what to do. So, so what we need to do actually, we learn also from this current pandemic. Can you go for the next slide? In which that what we learn when we are forced to do, and then happen recently, not only 26 countries, this is more than 200 countries affected. And then if you based on UNESCO, in which that almost all the school in this involved country close, make all the students, the teachers not what to do. So based on the previous pandemic, what we need to do actually, we must have significant accelerations development of online education, in which that some of the university in countries develop, they already have blended learning, in which the 30 to 80% of their teaching are online, but the rest is still conventional. And in order to make sure that this online teaching is happen and no one left behind, we must have a clear guideline and how to teach and how the student learn. So the lecturer and student must develop the new skill using online learning. So these pandemics happen not on in the rich country, but also poor countries like Republic of Congo, the poorest country in the world. They also need to adjust the teaching and learning. As we know that teaching learning is a very important aspect in our life. Just like I mentioned before, teaching just like a breathing. So there's no breathings, no life as well. I think teaching is a life for nation, for the future generation. So I think whatever situation where we are, whether we are from poor or we are from rich citizens of the world, we must do make sure that we are not left behind. Okay, all these aspects we need to work together, not only as individual but also as the institution like school, university, governments, and also the nation globally, how we can make sure that everybody not left behind in terms of knowledge acquisitions. I think as we can, as a doctors, I like to relay teaching and learning just like breathing. You inhale and you exhale. So if there's no movement, there's no teaching happen. Yeah. So I think the knowledge must be moved from the teachers to a student. So in order to do that, I think if, for example, the breathing, conventional breathing, that we no need to think how to breathe, not happen, or the conventional teaching itself, where the student go face to face, teachers teaching at the classroom. If this not happen, okay, if the breathing is not happen or teaching is not happen, what happen? So the life of the individual of human being will be affected. There are no breathings, no life, and no teachings, no life for them. In order to do this, so if we cannot breathe normally, I think we need to have other alternative method of breathing. In medical, we call it ventilator with force. We use the external aspect or alternative aspect to make sure that we are breathing so that we can alive to be carry on our tasks. So same thing when there are no conventional, no way that we can carry on conventional way in order to curb the spreading of this COVID-19, we need to have the alternative, which is online. Luckily, some of university in this world, they already have this strategic on blended learning, in which that 30 or 80% of the case, I think, teaching learning are delivered online. The rest still conventional, in which some part of the element of the teaching itself cannot be replaced by the online. So they call it blended learning. So I think as all the university in Malaysia, we adopt this blended learning for the past 5 years aggressively. Yeah? And then some of the university already achieved 100% of the courses delivered by blended learning, in which that the combination of face-to-face and online. That's why there's not have much difficulty on delivering this in Malaysia. But for the primary school and secondary school, that may have a problem. In order to overcome the challenges, there are a few things that the facts that necessary for us to make sure. So can we go to a next slide? Yeah. So yeah, this difficulty for all of us when the pandemic, we are at the movement control order. We are not freely move before. And as you mentioned, that students or teachers, yeah, and lecturers, they are separated by time and space. And most of the students in their hometown, they're dispersed. And then not only they're dispersed in all over the Malaysia, but also some of them in the rural, some of them in urban area. And then we know that even the student itself, they have diversity of the background. Some of them come from a T20, M40, and P40. So I think this make the diversity itself create a disadvantage or inequality later on when we implement this online learning. Can we move to the next slide in which that how are our strategic to ensure the quality of education during this pandemic? We need to create the communication channels like email where the student can reach, or WhatsApp or Telegram or messages in which that the student can be communicate with the teachers, okay, and how they can get the material and so on. This whatever I think communication channel we must create. Yeah, so I think we must understand that all students not come from the similar background. I think we need to adjust on this aspect. So we need to understand the student readiness of online learning, whether they're ready or not. This aspect we need to do. Yeah, we need to leave no one. I think when they do a survey, we make sure that all students we know how their status, whether they are able to go online or not. I think by doing this, we know how to make a strategy. Another aspect that we need to identify those no or poor internet access, no devices like a laptop, computer, or smartphone. And then, we need to examine whether they have a conducive environment for teaching learning. So this aspect that we need to make sure that we tackle before we can fully online our teaching method. If we cannot do it on fully online, we need to use the method we call that remote distant learning. So this two method is alternative to conventional method of teaching learning. Yeah. So can we move to a next slide, please? So in order to make sure this possible, I think the teachers or the student must do their own way in which that they must choose the best channel of communication so that they are communicate very well and how they receive the material and so on. And then the teachers or lecturers must ensure the student query about the question and then respond within a specific time frame so that we know whether the student is received our knowledge or the skill later on, how we can train them. And then we must facilitate self-directed learning as a facilitator in which that the center here is the student itself. And we try to reduce student isolation, create environment for student engage in the learning itself. When the student engage, okay, so the engagement is meaningful, and then there will be less likely the student will become bored, distracted, and disruptive. Yeah. So I think this aspect that I think we need to move. Okay, can we go to next slide, please? So the next slide mentioned that the learning activity, the best thing at the moment to accommodate no one left behind. Actually, we should look into the asynchronous type of activity in which that we can use pre-recorded video or voice, in which that I think I still remember when we are young age during a school all days. I think we just purchase video tape. And then we play in audio, and then we listen of the voice of the teachers. So this aspect we can also accommodate, in which that is more financially affordable. We use synchronized, in which that if you synchronize, that make a very high financial implication to not only to the student but lecturer as well as in the university. The best method would be asynchronized. So there are disadvantage and advantage on the two methods we use. And then focus on student interaction and facilitate the learning, including the disadvantaged group as mentioned. We should not leave no one behind in the knowledge acquisition itself. Okay, I'll next slide, please. So in order to make sure that the teaching is still continue. So we must imagine that teaching just like breathing. No breathings, no life. So no teachings, no life. Okay, so I think I end up with the last slide, in which that with the spirit of no one left behind, we must have holistic education system, regardless the method of teaching delivery, whether it's conventional, face-to-face, blended learning, or online learning, so that it will support the present and future community education in becoming more resilient to the crisis similar to this COVID-19 in the future. I believe that all of us can do this together to provide the quality education on all aspects. We must do it collaboratively, not only student, teachers, any institutions, government, telecommunication, and then all aspects, so that we can do it together. It's not only for the future student, but also future generation of the globe. I think that's all from me, Noor Azian.
Yes, Prof. Thank you very much for your insights and thoughts on the topic of discussion. So takeaway points from Prof just now is like I like the thoughts of having learning is like breathing. So we need to continue learning despite this global pandemic. And the most important is for educators to stay connected with the learners despite their locality and also background. And understanding your learners is very important. And also the importance of interaction and communication, yeah, Prof. And
Yeah.
also, I like the last point that to ensure education is a success, is through this global pandemic is everyone need to collaborate. Yeah, be it the lecturers, the students, or any other organizations that can assist us to make sure that we continue to breathe. Yeah, because like Prof said, learning is like breathing. So we must continue to breathe. Therefore, we must ensure learning is continued despite this pandemic. Thank you, Prof, for your input.
You're welcome.
So we have covered the education aspects just now, but on the other hand, this global crisis also brought and pushed us further into a digital world and changes in our behavior, but not everyone is ready to embrace a more digitized existence. The global pandemic crisis has accelerated the uptake of digital solutions, tools, and services, speeding up the global transition towards a digital economy. However, it has also exposed the wide chasm between the connected and the unconnected. So we have two different communities here, the connected one and the unconnected, revealing just how far behind many are on digital uptake. Inequalities in digital readiness hamper the ability of large parts of the world to take advantage of technologies that help us cope with the coronavirus pandemic. As the organization that spearheads the digital economy for the states, we are very honored and privileged to have Yang Berusaha Dr. Zaidi with us today for you to provide some insights and strategies that Sarawak Multimedia Authority can or will undertake to bridge the digital gap among the community to ensure that we do not leave those who are less digitally equipped even further behind during and in a post-coronavirus world. So over to you, Dr. Zaid.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi sahli sadri wa yassirli amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Eid Mubarak to all. I'm Zaidi Razak, General Manager of Sarawak Multimedia Authority. Okay, next. Next. Okay, all right. Sarawak Multimedia Authority has been established in 2018 with pursuant to the ordinance of Sarawak Multimedia Authority Ordinance that been endorsed and approved by our legislative in 2017, November 2017. As a part of the tall order and clear direction from Yang Amat Berhormat Ketua Menteri Sarawak, Datuk Petinggi Abang Johori, which put this a tall order that we must embark, we must embark and use digital technology to achieve these developed status state. Okay, in our digital journey, we have 47 strategic actions with 29 strategic actions that focus on the economic action plan, and also 18 strategic action that focus on these enablers. We call it enablers because this is a horizontal approach that will support the economic enablers. Right. The economic enablers as shown. We have this digital skill and talent development management. We have a digital and data, big data in this current terminology. And we also have a cybersecurity, research and development, and digital inclusivity. And the last one is digital innovation entrepreneurships. So we are not just looking at the urban inhabitants or people, but we also looking at the rural people. No one leave behind. This is our title today. Okay, next. In fact, this digital inclusivity is the core of our enablers of the whole state-wide digital economy strategies. As you know, before 2017, not really many people knows about this digital economy. When our Chief Minister, Honorable Chief Minister, introduced the digital economy, then people will start asking, what is digital economy? All right. Luckily, Alhamdulillah, we started it 3 years ago. And then when the pandemic happened now, the people realized that our strategy, our state, government, our Yang Amat Berhormat strategy is a correct move. We to propel our economy, all right, in future. The digital inclusivity, as I said, is not just for the urban people, it's also for the rural people, even the remote people. We have conducted the digital inclusivity program where we introduce the initiative to even to people in Long Busang. It's a far remote area in Kapit area, right? And then we introduce what is a digital to them and how this digital technology can uplift their lifestyle, uplift their economy, and how they can fully utilize this communication. All right. Another enablers that we focus is our communication infrastructure, digital, what we call it, digital infrastructure. Previously, prior to SMA establishment, we only have 82% coverage, varies from 2G, 3G, and also 4G. For the 3G, we only have 77%, and most of these area covered are in the urban and suburban, and a very little area in the rural area covered with 3G. And the 4G, of course, a new technology, only covered around 48%. And we have a total of 2,800 telecommunication tower in the state, right? And then, of course, as you know, this communication industry rely on the government, especially a federal, that is governed by multimedia communication ministry, and also rely on this industry, a telco industry. Right? If they see a profit in that area, of course, they will invest in that area. But as a state, as stated by our Yang Amat Berhormat Chief Minister, we must invest. Otherwise, we will left behind. Not only the rural people, but the urban people also left behind. That's why he announced almost 1 billion to be spent to erect this tower and also to expand this coverage. This is how our government and not rely on the federal, the state investment to cover the vast area in Sarawak. This is our commitment here. And we also, not just that, we also table our policy to the cabinet is approved. And with that, we welcome more players coming into Sarawak and do the investment. Right? And our target, if the plan successfully implemented, we will achieve a 99.9 hopefully by 2025 or 2030, because it will really depend on strategies we had bring the technology to us. Okay. The is smart 300. Right? Smart is a SMA rural telecommunication project that we agreed. Roll out. Some of the towers already erected, but not the services yet. And then it will followed by another project. It will call it smart next smart 600 towers and so on, until we can reach 99.9% coverage. Okay. And then not just that, we also focus on developing the skill. For that, we have currently we have established 6 innovation hubs, 2 in Kuching, 1 in Sarike, 1 in going to have to no 1 in Bintulu, 1 in Miri, and also we plan for another this year. Hopefully we can have another 3 in Kapit, in Sirian, and also in Mukah and Cebu. 4 actually. With this digital innovation hub, we bring our suburban, like for example, Sarike, we can call them suburban and introduce them and teach them how to leverage this digital technology, how to leverage digital marketing. If they have effort, they can use our digital innovation hub to expand their knowledge and also to expand their business. This is what our intention for them. Okay. And then not just that, we also have another program we will call it micro hubs. Micro hubs is another spoke from this divisional hub to the remote. We had this implementation in Long Seridan, partner with I can't recall the name of this Miss World participant. That we had sponsored them, right, to have this innovation hub. Even though the connection is not there, but we send our people, we send our staff to give this training, because we are not what we call able to provide the satellite communication, because it's quite expensive, and then the monitoring also quite expensive implementation to bring this equipment. But we are striving to achieve that. Okay. And then this micro hub, we partner with Ministry of Local Government and Housing, and also our Pustaka. They are our partner here. And at Pustaka, we have that this offline, what we call it, offline digital material, right? In Longsan, we also have this offline where the student the teacher can upload or download the material in the city and bring back to this rural area, and then use this digital material to teach the student. And Alhamdulillah, with the approval of YAB Chief Minister, they managed to get this connection to the school. But not like us in the city, in the urban, they limit the communication around 10 to 30 Mbps. Not like us in the city, we are very careful with the 100 Mbps in the city. Okay. Another one is next. Okay, this is the video that our rural student developed, created, and won the award in Taiwan, if I'm not mistaken. It showed that our rural people also creative and innovative. Is a primary student come up with this video. Can we watch it? Okay, it's okay. I think the video is not smooth enough. Okay.
The impressive, yeah, Dr. Zaidi, because the video is developed by our rural students and yet managed to win the international award in.
Yes, exactly. All right. Another program that we partner with Pustaka is we call it Panding, right? And then we also partner with Azam, UKAS, Sentex, Tegas to be our arms in the digital inclusivity. And we also have this online open learning provided by us. We partner with a Pustaka. The people can learn anything and can request kind of what type of training they want. Right? But of course, we cater the group of people. Right? And they can ask and request this training from Pustaka, and then if we can see there is a viable training, then we can provide this training to them. Okay. The expected program that we want to achieve in the rural is to have at least 60% of them equipped with this ICT knowledge, and also we want to bring them to the world, the product, not just the product themselves to the world, and to say that we want to establish their products in the Lazada and Shopee, even Amazon later on. And then we targeted around 30% of them can be brought up in these international platforms. And then we, not just that, we also develop this skill of cybercrime. It's not a skill of cybercrime, awareness on this cybercrime, because amazingly, when we focus on the rural people, the urban people always get conned by this scam. All right. Later in future, we have to shift this cyber crime awareness to the people, not for the rural people. Okay. And then for that, we had Okay, under MLGH, they have these rural libraries, not a libraries that in the city we are big and a lot of collection of books, but it's just a library for them to discuss and very several leverage on that. What we call a rural libraries to bring these people, the students, explain to them, and then also that to equip our resident and district office with the ICT knowledge so that they can disseminate this ICT knowledge to these rural people. This is how the government or SMA look into it. Another one is I think the last one, right? The last. Oh, I have many things to do to cover here. Okay. Uh, about my time, Dr.
You have
Azia?
about 2 more minutes, Doctor. Maybe you want to cover the
Can't hear
activities.
you.
Yeah. Maybe you want to cover the activities on talent development.
Hello?
Yeah, Dr. Zaidi.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
maybe
many?
you have about 2 more minutes. Maybe you want
Okay.
to cover the activities
All right.
conducted by SMA in terms of
Yeah.
digital readiness, on talent and
Okay.
skills
All
development.
right. Because okay, I have prepared a very long list to explain. All right. Okay. Okay. What we have this COVID post-COVID plan, right? We will try to reach. We are reaching these rural people and also urban people, urban student, and also we try to provide as many as much as coverage that we can have, enhance the coverage, right? And what we are more focused on this digital upskilling program, right? Even to the student, this primary, the secondary student, and also the people surrounding them, their parents, their whoever have this interest, right? To uplift their livelihood, to change what they have in rural area. This is our pledge to our people, right? Even though we are still new, we are just what we call a 2 years old organization, but with my staff, a very committed staff, inshallah, we can help even university to achieve these programs, to achieve the upskilling program to these rural people. This is our pledge. Over to you, Dr. Azia.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Zaidi. So we have heard from Dr. Zaidi, the General Manager of SMA, on how SMA responds to the medical challenge during and post-COVID-19. A few points, take-home points from Dr. Zaidi just now is that on the importance of digital inclusivity, we have observed and listened how SMA initiative to ensure that 99.9% coverage in the states, and also the development of digital innovation hub and also digital micro hub. I was really interested after that SMA goes up until Long Seridan to make sure that no one is left behind in terms of this
Yeah,
digital economy effort. And also,
exactly.
yeah, the importance of digital upskilling, especially to the community, to the children, parents, and also the SMA. And I'd like to pick up one important point mentioned by Dr. Zaidi just now is on the quadruple helix collaboration to ensure that we sustain in this digital economy. It's important that to collaborate among the government, the industries, higher learning institution, as well as the community. And
Yeah.
for our audience information, quadruple helix collaboration is actually the base, the foundation of our University for Society initiative. So we would like to highlight this quadruple helix collaboration further during and post-COVID-19. Thank you, Dr. Zaidi, for sharing your thoughts and insights
Yeah.
with us.
Okay, thank you, Doc.
Ladies and
Welcome.
gentlemen, our lady speaker today, Dr. Emma. For your information, Dr. Emma has been advocating on importance of emotional resilience. Yeah, the new terms, not really new terms, but we often listen to about resilience during this pandemic. As the coronavirus pandemic sweeps across the world, it causes a widespread of concern, fear, and stress. What more to say mentioning about the emergence of online education, digital economy, and other new normal and uncertainties caused by the global pandemic? What is the impact that it brings about towards the community mental health, and what are the strategies to overcome it? Over to you, Dr. Emma.
Okay, thank you, Puan Razia. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good morning, everyone, and all the viewers. My name is Emma. So it is a pleasure for me, actually, an honor to be part of this session, especially with our Deputy Vice Chancellor and our dearest Dr. Zaidi from SMA. Dearest, Okay, alright. Selamat Hari Raya Aidilfitri, Selamat Hari Keamatan, dan Selamat Hari Gawai. This is a very interesting topic. Alhamdulillah, I guess this is the best platform for us to share, especially when Yang Berbahagia Prof and Dr. Zaidi mentioned about the education and digital economy, how to develop our community. And it's not only specifically, I'm sure it is not only specifically for Sarawak, but also for general. So I will have this sharing in general because when we are talking about human being, so we are the human beings, and we need to know about our capabilities, and we need to know how to bounce back from this crisis. When Puan Azia asked me what is the impact of this pandemic, global pandemic, the first sentence, first word that I recall is that challenging. We are now very challenging in the situation, in this crisis, in situation. That's why I keep sharing about resilience. It's very important for us to know our inner strength as a human being, as individuals, because these individuals are the communities. We are the part of the communities, and how we want to develop this in this crisis situation. So as you know, when it comes to this resilience, we need to understand what is resilience first. Yeah, and inshallah I will introduce another new term, Puan Azia, which is the community resilience. Firstly, we need to understand first what is resilient. We know a very simple language, we call it as a resilient is a bounce back, to adapt and to adopt from any adversity. At present, we are in crisis. This is adversity for us. We are invulnerable. We are still searching our vaccine, Prof. So we are struggling. Even though we are struggling, but we strive. We try our best to find our ways. And as Dr. Zaidi mentioned about digital economy, how to connect and engage. This is the connection, internet connection. And then like Prof mentioned, is a breathing. I would say the internet connection is the oxygen to us, for the education, to deliver the input, to deliver the knowledge, and also for us to learn from this. Right now, I guess the word that I mentioned just now is about challenge, very challenging. Even right now, we are now communicate, even though we are physically we can see each other. However, we have machine between us, and then whether this connection is good or not, it depends. That will be the second matter. But the most important thing in communication, we want to deliver that information, we want to deliver the knowledge. Okay, I like to start with, I need to thank our government, from both state and federal, the industry, charitable organizations, and non-government organization. these are the partners, yeah, have an increasing focus on programs intended to support community, our community resilience to crisis, yeah. And as we know that when it comes to safety and health, these are two basic needs that we are in challenge, yeah. And these are the thing that we want to win this kind of thing. That's why there's a tagline say, we are in the war, we want to win, kita jaga kita, something like that, yeah. So and I like to touch on the SDG, Sustainable Development Goal 3, yeah. And of course this is very what do you call that, very significant to the good health and well-being. How do we maintain our well-being? How do we maintain our good health? Firstly, I like to share, to discuss a bit on the good health. Normally, people, I think we are very biased actually, Puan Azia. We are very biased. We think that health is physical, our body, this kind of thing. But it's not only that, yeah. Health is, in our mind, health is, we need to know that health includes the mental, emotional, psychological, and also our social, so that we can have an optimum good health. Yeah, we want that. This is something that we need to aim. And then how to do this intervention. So we need to work together. Yeah, even community. Yeah, they need to learn. We are not talking about normal community. We need to talk about disadvantaged group. We need to engage with our disabled group. So these are the community that we really need to engage. And then how this group of communities are able to learn, how able to be resilient in this crisis. Yeah. So I like to touch on the, let me define, yeah, what is community resilient first. I need to borrow two definitions. Yeah. So a resilient community as one that has the ability to transform the environment through deliberate collective action, and requires the community as a whole must cope effectively with and learn with the adversity. So we know that there's a keyword there. Number one, transform the environment. Yeah. And then right now, our environment, not only in Malaysia, not only in Sarawak, but the whole world, the environment. So we need to transform. Okay. How we want to transform that? That's another tricky that we need to do. And number two, we need to cope effectively as a group. We cannot just be one, it's not one man show. All right. As Prof. Hatta mentioned, UNIMAS is working very, to me, UNIMAS is doing very great in terms of taking care of the welfare of the staff, of the students, of everyone around us, even the community. Yeah, even we engage the community during this crisis. And then the third keyword here is that learn from the adversity. So I like this something that I like to say, embracing opportunity in adversity. When we embrace the opportunity in adversity, we are able to see YAB CM kita, our CM has this kind of idea beyond this digital economy. He wants everyone to be connected in Sarawak to this internet connection. So which is good. Yeah. All right. And the second definition that I like to share is the community's ability to withstand crisis or disruptions, emphasizes variable relating to leadership, collective efficacy, place attachment, preparedness, and social trust. So when we want to develop a community resilient community, so we need to know who are these leaders. We need to have a good leader, very enthusiastic leader, futuristic leader, and dare to take risks. When talk about resilient, we are talking about two factors: risk factors and the protective factors. Protective factors are what we have at present. We have emotional support, we have education on the way, with the different platform, and we have how to engage with other people. We have this digital, of course, digital economy for the business to improve our life and so on. But the internet is a must at this point. We need to have a very good internet connection. Yeah. So with these two definition, I think this is very important. Yeah, when it comes to mental health, yeah, it is something that definitely when you mention about fear, you mention about what do you call it, confusion, stress, this anxiety, even. So it can lead to depression, and in fact, there are few cases, suicidal cases already. Okay, so we need to know. Okay, even everyone, we need to treat individually, differently, and uniquely. We cannot just judge like one whole group is like that. This one community group is A and community group is B. No, it's not like that. We need to treat them as a person, and they are very unique, and we need to understand their uniqueness and strengths. And then of course we need to know the weaknesses, so that once we have this information, we can have, we need to know, okay, what are the things that they can develop the community after this, and how to support each other, mentally, psychologically, emotionally. So of course, yeah, the counselors, the psychologists, the clinical psychologists, the medical doctors, and so I mean the frontliners are there. Okay, and then but definitely there are so many things that going on in our mind. Yeah, and then some people, they are very strong inside, they have a very strong inner strength, very high inner strength, so they are able to cope very well. But there are people, because due to their own mental health condition before this crisis, and then can lead more challenge in them, yeah, in more vulnerability in them. So I would like to, I hope that, in the future, not in the future, maybe now, this is the right time. In my opinion, year 2020 is a turning point for everyone. The way of lifestyle, we change our lifestyle. We change our way of, taking care of ourselves, and the social distancing. Social distancing is quite tricky word, yeah. I know WHO using this word, but it means physical distancing. We do not want people to isolate, yeah, because isolation is one of the signs, yeah, in mental health if they have issues, yeah. Okay, so I'd like to share one slide only, yeah, because I'm so impressed with Dr. Zaidis and Prof. Yeah, slide. Oh, okay, give me
your input, Dr. Emma.
Inshallah. Okay.
Two terms to hear from you: community resilience.
Yes. So I think it's time for us to study, and then how to develop our community resiliently lah. So that I don't know whether pardon me if the word is wrong in English, but I think it's time for us, because once we understand the factors, we identify the factors, the risk factors, and the protective factors, and I will share later about the resilient framework that maybe the community can pick up. These leaders can pick up and build this community resilient. I have problem to share. Okay. All right, got it. All right. So yeah. Okay, got it. Nampak? Okay. So I'd like to share this framework. Only one slide lah, Puan Nazia, So community resilience, firstly, I like to touch on social resilience lah. I have to bias here lah, because I'm counselor, and then I need to, talking about human interaction, we're talking about human relationship. So how the social resilience can bring us together, yeah, unite us together. I think Malaysian, honestly, I salute them. I salute the frontliners. I salute our people, even around us, yeah. They are very cautious, they are very we care each other, so that's very important. So number two, when Prof Hatta mentioned about education, so the university try to find means and ways how to accommodate every people, every student, every lecturers, yeah, capacity and ability, so that the education is going on, because learning is part of resiliency as well. Without the learning part, without the education and knowledge, we are not able to bounce back very well. For instance, let's say, for example, we receive a lot of information from our WhatsApp. If we are not sure, we are unsure, and then we easily get influenced without knowing what is right, what is wrong. We will there will be a moment we get panicking. So when it comes to the panic, so that's the moment that the stress comes in. The moment of the anxiety will be high. And then if there is no one console them and no one to talk to, and they will perceive in different way. And Dr. Zaidi mentioned about economic, like digital economy. Since that we cannot do business physically, we cannot do tasks physically now, very limited. But there are means and way so that the country, the state, the people, the rakyat, us can generate money to run our country, to run our state. So this is very important. So, and the last one, the environmental. I bet all our scientists, our medical doctor, they are working hard on this matter, because right now as I mentioned, the safety and the health. Now we're talking about the health, but we need the vaccination. If without the vaccination, the fear is still there. Okay, we are kind of like it creates another word. We call it as a paranoid. We paranoid for everything. So in us, we do have all this kind of thing. It's about self-control, how we control ourselves. So I would like to suggest a community resilient, if we are able to discuss on this matter, to study on this matter. And then the thing is that when talk about resilient, we want to find the balance. Wasatiyah. I love the word Panazia. Wasatiyah. Even in Islam, even in any religion, we are talking about balancing. Balance in our life. How we want to balance our life, not too high, not too low, because we need to balance the factors. We need to take the risk. We need to have the protective factors to balance it. Once we balance it, the community, not only community, before community, it must be individuals. The individuals in each community, they have something in them, and then build that capacity, build that strength, so that they can have a very strong, resilient community. So these are the four resilience that maybe we can study more. We can like this we can expand the discussion. Okay, how much time do I have, Puan Azza? I lupa nak tengok time.
Thank you, Dr. Emma.
Thank you. Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah, we go for Q&A. Yeah, thank you for your input. You can have another slot later for the sharing session. A very interesting input by Dr. Emma, ladies and gentlemen, about it's also a new term for me today on community resilience. And then you can see that from this discussion from the panel, we can observe how all these SDG, we have 17 SDG, and today's discussion focusing on SDG 3, 4, and 8. We can see that they are interconnected, they impact each other, and how they rely and respond to each other. Because we can see that on community resilience, there must be a balance, that Emma mentioned about balancing on social, education, economic, and also environmental resilience. So thank you very much, panel, for the first round. We just complete our first round of panelist session. Let's look into questions posted by our audience. Thank you very much, our audience, for posting the questions. I think we can have time. I've picked up some questions from the audience. Some are redundant, but we'll focus pick more on those that are generally overlapping with each other. There's one very technical questions here to Dr. Zaidi from Mr. Muhammad Imran Bandan. His question is, what is the current penetration of fiber in Sarawak? And when is the latest targeted penetration of 99 to 100% throughout Sarawak? This is on the topics of digital inclusivity. Maybe Dr. Zaidi can share with us.
Thank you, Doc, for these questions. Penetration fiber mainly in the urban, some in the rural area, like we are not called Kapit is a rural area. It's also a suburban because they have businesses carry over there is more into the suburban areas. Okay, but the penetration, I can say that it's not more than 50% of the fiber, even in the rural, in the major city in Sarawak, in Kuching, Sibu, Miri, and also Bintulu. But our telco providers really look into it, and in the federal, they have this NSCP2, which plan to have more fibers in these urban areas and also in the suburban areas. As I said that with leadership of our chief minister, we cannot rely on the federal. So for that, we establish our telecommunication policy, which allow more players coming in and invest in our infrastructure. Of course, when they do the investment, they have to see a dollar and cent. Okay, the investment that carry the weightage, more weightage, they will invest. All right, but with this pandemic, they have to change the strategy. They cannot see this investment as a dollar and cent anymore. It's more into the social obligation, right? People, because people need this high speed connectivity, right? And another way, another implementation that we will carry out is our Pen Borneo. We have the fiber in the Pen Borneo across the state, and we also have this OPGW that being provided by our SEB. We have to leverage on infrastructure, right, to get the fiber connectivity across the state. But of course, the branching, that one is the backbone. The branching need investment, right? We are open to this fiber connectivity plan works to our providers, but our role here more into this rural area, whereby the rural area, of course, you cannot connect Cebu and lay cable from Cebu to Kapit, all right? But we use this OPGW by SEB to connect this Kapit to the Kuching and also to the Cebu and so on, and the other major cities. And we also have this to the world. We also allow, approve actually, one player to have this new international cable from Batam to Kuching, right? To increase our connectivity to the world. This is our current implementation. And another question is about what?
The targeted
Yeah, oh yeah,
timeline when
yeah.
the digital inclusivity to achieve about 99 to 100% throughout Sarawak.
We hope that with our current implementation and also investment, our state has approved more investment to be made to this infrastructure. We are looking at the 20 beyond 2025, not more than 2030 to achieve that, and hopefully these works can be carried out soon. And then with the pandemic, we have to stop the constructions. It will delay a bit, around 3 to 4 months, and we have to resume it. We just resumed it last week. All right, when the CMCO been implemented, and hopefully this rural communication, rural telecommunication works can be carried out much more faster, quicker than before. This is our inspirations. Then we cannot rely on other people. The state government has decided that we must invest, because this is our pledge to our people, that every people, every citizen in the state will be connected. This is our pledge.
Thank
Okay.
you, Dr. Zaidi. Yeah,
Alright.
thank you for your input. As a citizen myself, I'm happy to hear that, to make
Yeah.
sure that more citizens we need to stay connected in this pandemic, and also maybe pause for future crisis connectivity. Thank you, Dr. Zadi, for the input. I think we can take one more questions regarding online education. So these questions to Yang Berbahagia Prof. Hatta. Before that, thank you again, Mr. Muhammad Imran Bandan, for your questions on the penetration of fiber to Dr. Zaidi just now. We have one question from Mr. Hairul Azman Roslan here regarding the online education to Yang Berbahagia Prof. Hatta. The question is, how can the students get their value for money in tertiary education in the new norm, where online teaching is conducted, especially when connectivity is not 100% for the students. So I think Prof mentioned earlier about synchronous and asynchronous online learning and the difference between face-to-face and online learning. So the question now is that how can the students get their value for money in tertiary education in the new norm where online teaching is conducted? Over to you, Prof.
Thank you, Noazia, and also the Hairul.
Yeah,
The
the
question
question is from Mr. Hairul Azman.
Okay, so as mentioned that when come about the value for money, so we're talking about the quality. So whatever I think the knowledge, the skill we want to give it to our student, they must have a quality assurance on aspect. All university in tertiary education in Malaysia, we are bound to the agency, Malaysian Qualification Agency, in which that whatever we deliver, they must, I think, compile to this MQA. So we are lucky in Malaysia, in which that I think all the agency at the national level, the ministry itself, higher educations, the Malaysian Qualifying Agency, all the university, not only in public university, but as well as private university. So during this area, where in the tertiary education is quite comfortable, because before this we implement our strategic plan earlier, in which that one element that we always revise actually our blended learning. So in which that recently, before the COVID-19, the ministry and also the MQA will come up with a guideline and how we can implement the blended learning. So this actually the good initiative by the Ministry of Higher Education to standardize the process of combining the conventional with the online. I think we are lucky because we start this earlier, about 5 years ago. So that is quite happy. The progress, that effort done not only by our lecturers, the coordinator of the program, the course coordinator, the deputy dean of in charge of academic, as well as the dean and also the university itself. So I think the first of all, when this happened, so 2 days after the announcement of MCO by our honorable Prime Minister, I cannot sleep actually for two nights to think how we can deliver the good quality and then value for money for our student as whole in UNIMAS. Not to say that I think they are come from different background. Yeah. So as we know that I think there are diversity. They're not only in campus but outside campus during that time. When that happened, 70% of our students actually is out of campus because they are mid-semester break. So what we do, I think we need to come up with a very clear guideline. I think Alhamdulillah, with the assistance of Center of Applied Multimedia and also the Division for Academic Development Management, university, as well as division for the accreditation and also quality assurance, we come up with very comprehensive guideline, very clear to our lecturers to implement. not only the delivery method, but also the assessment aspect. So I think with this guideline, and then we go through all the process. Give example, I think yesterday we discussed in detail during our jawatan kuasa actually uh, on the academic development. It took me about 1 day to come up with on almost 80 working paper, and how to make sure that the program that we impart on reminding of the second semester in UNIMAS is in a good quality. So for the current student, we are not very what do you call that worried, because they are exposed to the blended learning that we put it supplement before the COVID. One the COVID, we put it as gantian. Okay, this is replacement to the face-to-face. We are lucky because we done this about 5 years ago, and then our student, when they are in the year one until the final year, they have experienced this skill of how using the learning management system in UNIMAS. We call it e-lips. Yeah. So I think other universities also, they have their own LMS, the system. I think with the quality control and quality insurance, and then the clear guideline, I think the value of money will be there. And then as we know that, I think this is a new skill that all the teachers and also the student need to discover, as we can see ourselves. Yeah, for the past 70 days ago, we don't know what is Zoom, what is Webex. Now, within a very short period of time, we learn of this new skill. So I believe not only the lecturers, but students also. For the tertiary education, I don't see that as any problem, but I think a little category of the student, in which some of them, because we can see the background of the student is very diverse, where they come from, poor family, they're coming to university to get this all the experience. I think that we have promised to them a campus experience and so on. I believe when they come in the campus later on, I think because the program will be about 4 years, 5 years, 3 years. So if they're not be able to have this experience campus, probably later on when this situation is coming back, so we can go to our conventional method with blended with this online learning. So I hope that, I think there will be a non-issue of value for money, and then because all university actually are very looking into the clear guideline to facilitate not only the teachers but also students to acquisition of the knowledge itself, and the skill later on when they're coming back to university for value. Because there's no way that we can replace everything with the online. Yeah. So especially those who are having the psychomotor aspect. So this aspect that we already at the Ministry of Higher Education thinking how to bring back those program or course that cannot deliver by online method. So I think there will be some certain category of student we can bring back for that purpose. I believe that with the good quality assurance and then clear guideline, I think we can implement, and then all the good value money for student. I think that's all. I think I hope that my explanations answering the question from
Thank
Mr.
you. Thank
Hairul.
you. Yeah, despite our teaching delivery method, it's very important to uphold the quality of education that we are delivering, which is like very closely to SDG 4 on ensuring quality education. With that, thank you, Mr. Hairul, for the question. I would like to also to take this opportunity, since we are talking about quality education. I would like to highlight or even to promote to all our audience. There will be a forum on quality PDP KPB. It's actually a forum on quality teaching and learning, organized by Majlis Pengurusan Kualiti Universiti Awam, which will be held on Monday, 1st of June at 10 o'clock. They will be airing live on air at their Facebook Live. So please join Majlis Pengurusan Kualiti Universiti Awam because they will deliberate further on how to ensure quality education during this pandemic. With that, Prof, I think perhaps we can deliberate further from your point just now on quality education. Since now there is a sudden shift away from the classroom in many parts of the globe, some are wondering. Even our attendees also posed questions on the chat box about whether the adoption of online learning will continue to persist post-pandemic and how such shift would impact the worldwide education market. What's your view on this one?
Yeah, I think thank you, Nauzia, for that questions. And then the statement actually, as I think for beginning, I think as we know that no one method of teaching is the best. So there must be a combination of variety. I think that's why I think that we come up with a blended learning in which that combination of the way that how we deliver the teaching itself. I think as we know that I think in this situation we don't have another alternative, much alternative. Yeah. So then this is what we call that dalam. If there are difficulty, there will be an easy. Yeah. So I think when there are crises, I think at the same time we use that opportunity to improve our capacity. Yeah? Whatever I think as mentioned, teaching never stop. We should not stop in teaching. Whatever I think a channel we do, we must go ahead with that. So with this current scenario, as we can see that I think in certain country where their income mostly from the education aspect, where I think the international student enrolled in the university, they are already affected. But in Malaysia, we also some university that have a huge number of international, they also have this affected on how the enrollment of student itself. As we can see, if you look into the country, the poorest country in this world, Republic of Congo, in which that I think I go through the initiative by the government of Congo. Even though they are the poorest country, they also have a strategic how they can incorporate this online teaching because looking into I think I do a research on this aspect. Even though they are very poor country, but with the population of almost 19 million, is about 3 times more than Malaysia. So they try to encourage the university so that their element of online teaching can be implemented in Congo so that they have a quality of educations. So this is an opportunity for all the university, the provider. So how to reach not only in Malaysia contact but also the international level. Because as we can see that even though if they're coming to Malaysia to learn or any other countries like Europe and American and Australia and so on, they also need huge implication of financial aspect. They fly there, the accommodation, the fee, they're very expensive. But if there are what we call it, open and distant learning concept, where mostly is done by about more than 80% of the courses delivered or through the online, and then another 20 or 30% is delivered through face-to-face. There's some of the element that cannot be replaced by, so that they can use that an aspect of the money government itself as well as the individual itself. When to get the education, quality education, they can get that element in which that some of it is available. I think, for example, that in UNIMAS, we upload our lectures in the ellipse. I think the same things. I think at least 80% of the content can be delivered online. And then a lot of the aspect that we can see in terms of infrastructures. For example, we may not have a very huge number of lectures hall, yeah. So I think this can be improved because I think when talking about the huge number, big area of the lectures itself, so there will be the infrastructures, the electricity, all these aspects will incur to the not only the student but university itself. if we can look into the aspect that we put it on blended, not fully, so that is a good opportunity for not only Malaysians, but also the other countries, the poor countries, where they can use that money for other purpose, yeah, for the health purpose and development of infrastructures that really need on their development of their own country. So I think it's for example, they spend about how many fee of the education in higher education in Europe, and then compared to online, they can use that, yeah, for other purpose. I think this aspect I can see. I think post-COVID, there will be two method of offering the program in all university in the world, in the globe. There will be in on campus and online. Yeah, I think that they're given the community in the world to receive the education, quality education, through two options, in campus and also online. Okay, so at least they have an option. Those who are disadvantaged group, they can use the cheapest one, but the quality, I think, aspect still maintains. Yeah. I think that is my feedback. I can see that this element will be continue, but I'm sure that a blended learning is still the best approach, and some component is cannot be replaced by learning. For example, if we cannot breathe normally, we cannot stand for ventilation for 20 years because the element of electricity, their machines, all aspect, yeah, this all need maintenance. So I think this element that we need to go back so that it's more cost effective when we are delivering the education. Because our task in university actually to assist the individual outside there, whether they are Malaysian or not Malaysians, to get the adequate knowledge, skill, so that they can able to solve the problem, whether they're at the PhD undergraduate level, they can solve simple problems faced by society, wherever they are, whether they are in the village or they are in the rural or the big country or developed country. When they have acquired the skill and knowledge, so they can solve a lot of problems that faced by the world at the moment. Yeah. So I think in different level, whether they are master level or PhD level, so they can solve differently, whether it's complicated or a complex problem faced by the world. I think that is the role of university, whether it face-to-face, conventional, but online. The most important is the knowledge and skill the student need to receive the outcome later on. Thank you.
Prof, for your view on that matter, because we receive a lot of questions on these aspects, whether online learning will persist post-pandemic. But we also would like to know our audience view on the matter. So our secretariat had posted a polling on WebEx. So my dear audience, you can look at the polling questions. Do you think the adoption of online learning will continue to persist post-pandemic? So please click your answer. We would like to listen your view as well. Yeah. So let's move on another questions to Dr. Zaidi. Hi, Dr. Zaidi. Yeah. Perhaps you can share with us, because the global pandemic crisis has provided a new start for digital infrastructure development. Yeah, there's another aspect of digital inclusivity of infra itself, using the cloud, big data, AI applications that creates room for industries to develop and build new business models. So it is now the moment for countries to fast track the construction of new digital infrastructure to sustain the economic growth. So what's your view on that, Dr. Zaidi?
Thank you, Dong. For the digital infrastructure, we are not looking into this only digital infrastructure per se, the connectivity, but we also look into this fintech. State government has launched this Sarawak Pay. We call it digital infrastructure for these financials. Right? For that, we can say that when people use this, adopt and adapt this Sarawak Pay, you can see that these businesses more flourish, and then the state government also able to give this welfare assistance through this fintech immediately. Like currently, if someone use Sarawak Pay, they can immediately get this cashback. Okay, cashback. It might not too much, but it also gives some assistance. For example, any purchase of 50 ringgit, you can get 1 ringgit back. Is how this state try to get the people and the businesses to be in the on these platforms or digital infrastructure. And for this bantuan BKSS, bantuan Kerajaan Sarawak Ku Sayang 3.0, 2.0, also we can have the welfare assistance or financial assistance directly to these businesses, right? They will get 2,000, if I'm not mistaken, 2,150 ringgit, right? From each of them, for each of them. And then this can bring more people into this digital infrastructure. And we also encourage the developers, state developers, local players, all right, to partner with the global players. For example, yesterday we had launched this community whereby all these shoppers have to scan the QR code at the business premises. And then this partnership of these local players partner with Huawei. All right, it is a social responsibility from Huawei that to bring our local player to this level. And then in the other aspect also, we encourage this opening up a new data center. Right. Of course, the government has our own data center, which is very secure. Like for state government, we have a Sarawak net for the infrastructure. But we also encourage the player of other uh, new players from the other regions, for example, the eastern part, western part, or European part, to place their data center. We call DR data center, disaster recovery, DRC center for them, right? This is how we want to bring these people and businesses. And we hope that these other businesses that not really into a digital economy can have the ability and urge to invest in their own electronic or whatever digital approach that can bring the business to the another level, to the next level. For example, they have to invest like marketing tools, right? That see how these requests or interests of the other people, right? And also to embark into the available platform, like for example, Lazada, Shopee, even AliExpress, to bring their product to the world. This is what government try to help them. They can come over to the SMA, and even our partner UNIMAS can assist them. Dr. Noazah. Dr. Noazah is very helpful and train our rural people to be in this platform. Over to you, Dr. Noazah.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
thank you, Dr. Zaidin, for your input. So we have listened on the importance of digital infrastructure on fintech. Fintech. I would like to also emphasize that fintech, we also have an industrial lab on fintech at our university, which we started years before the pandemic happened. So I think that's the readiness of the university collaboration together with SMA industries. And I'd like to highlight also to all industries players out there who are listening to us now, please collaborate with the government and the universities like us for the social responsibility aspects to ensure that the digital inclusivity is there for our community. So thank you, Dr. Zaidi. Dr. Emma, perhaps last sharing from you. Can you please share with the audience how we as global citizens, because we always listen to our DG, Ministry of Health, every day during the press media, sidang media, he always mention about community empowerment. He always mention every day. He will mention about community empowerment during his press conference. So can you share with the audience like how we as global citizens can help the community to build and cultivate emotional resilience, or maybe on community resilience during or even post-pandemic? Can you share with you, Dr. Emma?
Okay, inshallah. Thank you so much, Puan Nazia. Okay, I really like the term of community empowerment by our ministry. Yeah, actually, it shows that community has a very important role. Without us, a community, a global citizens or a community, I don't think, personal view, I don't think we will win this war. Yeah, and emotionally we will very drained, because of this news. We every day we are looking forward to listen to the news, the updates, everything. I really like to touch on the psychological adaptation when we are in the crisis at present, and there are a lot of new things going on, and a lot of adaptations that we need to do. One of the adaptations that we need to do is the psychological part, and also the mindset, and then how we perceive what is going on in our world. If we perceive it in healthy way, inshallah, we will perceive the world in a in positive way. For instance, I need to take this example: education, online education. It is something very new, even to me as a lecturer. It's kind of like for me to adapt. I need to get used with this kind of technology. And maybe those who are like generation Y, generation Z, they are very good in these gadgets. And then they have this kind of good human machine interaction. This is another field that maybe we can explore. So when it comes to the psychological adaptation, community has a role, and we as an individual, we need to have a very good social skills. One of them is communication, right? Communication skill is very important. It's not about talking only. Communication plays big role in our daily life. At present, we are challenged with this interaction, human machine interaction. It's hard for us to see the whole body language. It's not easy. We only can see the facial expression, maybe our voice tone. Even sometimes when we text, we're using WhatsApp, sometimes the emotion doesn't deliver well. Okay, and then the third thing, the how to cultivate the emotional resilience is that we need to learn how to regulate our own emotion very effectively. Very hard to say very effectively. We need to self-regulate we need to learn. We need to learn that. We need to learn how to self-regulate. It's okay to feel stress. It's okay to feel fear. It's okay to feel like sad what's going on around us, disappointed, frustration. It's a very common emotion. We need to have that. We need to have this kind of channel. And then if you are unable to communicate this channel, this emotion, please find someone that can talk to you. Okay, if the family members are good listener, effective, attentive listener, so you are very lucky. If not, don't worry, you're not alone in this situation. Try to get some help outside. There are so many helps. We have a psychosocial support online. We have psycho-emotional support online. Reach them. There is a free of charge at present. So don't worry about the money. Okay, right now, because we want to build the community resilient. We want to develop individual resilience so that the community is resilient and able to, sustain This is what we want. We want them to bounce back, and we want them to bounce forward. That's very important in resilience. I like to share five, what do you call that? Maybe domains, I would say. Yeah, this I like to share this. Number one, we need to ensure our basic. Alhamdulillah, our governments, they are very particular. They are very, concerned about our basic needs. For instance, the food. We need to have a nutritious food. They're very. The government will make sure that all the food, all the citizen, no one left behind in this situation. Yeah, and then make sure that the safety is there. Yeah, all these are the basic things that we have to have when it comes to build the resiliency. Number two, belonging. Make ensure as well. Okay, right now relationship is very important. Family relationship, community relationship, even though for to yourself. Sometimes when it comes to the mental health, when it comes to the emotional distress, they are not in line. I mean, they means I refer to the body, soul, and mind. They are not in line. So we need to inline them, and then find the balancing. Okay, and then number three, learn. We need to learn. It's not only going to school, formal education, but also informal education. Yeah, so it's very important. Right now, even the parents are struggle. Teaching the kids at home, and then automatically parents have another hat, to wear at home to teach the student. I mean the children. So it's kind of like it's automatically kind of thing. It's a struggle. What do you call it? It's a survivor kind of thing. So survivor skill. And the fourth one is I like to share is the coping. We need to know what is our coping style. It's very important. There are people, they cope emotionally. There are people cope with the facts. There are people that cope with combine these two. So once we understand this individually, then it's easier for us to cope in community, right? And then after that, the last one is about core self. We need to have our belief system. If we believe this, we can win together. The togetherness is very important. Okay, and okay, fine. There are few people percentage people disobey, right? PKP, MCO, CMCO, they disobey, they langgar all the peraturan, all kind of things. That is normal. To me, it's normal, Panazia. You know why? Because that is how they express themselves. Maybe that's not the right channel. Means it's up to the leaders how to create a design a channel for them to express themselves, because everyone has their own personality. There are personality, aggressive personalities, and so forth, right? So these are the five domains or factors that I think, inshallah, if we can try to understand, try to identify them, so we can have this, community resilience, inshallah. And as in person, emotionally, cognitively, must be in line. Even I like to izinkan to promote this. Okay, we need to treat our mental health as physical health. I know my challenge is physical health lah, tapi that's the challenge. We need to strive. Yeah, so inshallah, with that, I like to end if that is possible with this quote. This is something that I observed from day one of PKP MCO. Okay, how wonderful it is that nobody need wait a single moment before starting to improve the world. The moment we are in the crisis, the moment I still remember, I talked to Prof. Hatta, and then I was worried, because we have this going on. Prof. Hatta said, "Don't worry, we have something." So it's to cool down, to calm down. Yeah. So means that every one of us, we are very intelligent. We have the wisdom. We are the gift from God. And we have the strategies to help each other. The thing is that we need to be open up lah. If we live alone, that's different story lah, Panazia. So they need to see counselors or psychologists to talk about that. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you to all our panelists for your input and also your thoughts on leaving no one behind in this very challenging moment of time. So we are moving on to our last segment for today. Time runs very fast. We have about 15 minutes. So I think we still have time to open for live Q&A. Very interesting questions from Puan Siti Mariam. And I would like to invite Puan Siti Mariam to ask live questions to Dr. Emma. I think Dr. Emma, even myself also as a working mother with career, with children, having the education at home, I would like to also to listen to your response towards this. So can we have Puan Siti Mariam online, please?
Yeah, Assalamualaikum. Can you hear me?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yeah, welcome to the forum online. Thank you for taking your time out with us today.
For having me. As you can see, I'm at home in my room now, and
Yeah,
I have
I open the floor for you to ask questions. I think this is a burning questions to all to all working mothers. Yeah.
exactly, yes, exactly. So
Over to you, Dr. Puan Siti Mariam.
right. I was talking. I chatted with Kak Azia regarding my concern in this kind of situation is that regarding our work quality. We all know that before MCO started, we have our work time from 8 to 5. We have our peace and quiet in the office. We don't have children disturbing us, right? So now when we're at home during MCO, we have children as well as we have to cook. We have the boys to take care of and the man, and we have to take care of all the household chores that we usually do at night. Now we have to do from 8 to 5. I mean, all we have 24 hours. I mean, you understand what I mean. We have to have 24 hours to deal with all things at the same time. And now that we're at home, so the children are seeing us all the time. So, working is also like 5 minutes, and then later on you'll be chasing them down. And then you have 5 minutes working, and after that you'll be telling them, hey, be quiet and all that.
Yeah.
So just my concern is that the work quality will not be the same as before, because now most of my time at night will be doing my work, what's left, because I cannot complete it during the daytime, things like that. So that's my concern now. We don't have that 8 to 5 quality work time now, like before MCO started. Yeah, that's all. I'd like Dr. Amelia with you
Dr.
regarding
Emma.
Yeah. I
Advice.
Okay, I heard you, Puan Siti Mariam, because it's happening to me as well. I think it's a big challenge. Sorry, gentlemen, it's a big challenge to the ladies, I guess, especially with the kids around, especially when they are in the growing phases. Yeah. So I guess you're right. I feel that when you share this, I feel suddenly this forum become a social support system. That I don't feel alone. I thought I'm alone, in this kind of station. I cannot. Oh, I thought that I need to do this and this and this during at night. Even writing, reading, phone, during at night. Yeah. So I guess it is a big challenge for us, especially the women with career, and also when we have our children at home, and you need to prepare. Meaning to say, we wear so many hats at one time, and how to have a quality work, I guess it depends on how you manage, because right now I even struggling, but I know what I'm saying right now is maybe too ideal for you, but it's something that what is best for you, and the time as well. If during that time at the time during daytime is good for things, how many hours normally when my baby is sleeping, that's the best time lah. That's why I prefer to have meetings within that hours, so that there's no distraction. Yeah. And so these are the things that you need to know your time. And then I know it's really bad. I hear you when I say that you manage your time. It's not right, actually. In crisis, we cannot say that everything will be all right. That is so wrong. Okay? And then something that even nighttime, kadang-kadang pun you tertidur when you anak-anak pun tertidur. And then you get up pun rasa macam like very tired kan. So I guess it's about adaptation, psychological adaptation. As I mentioned before, adaptation, psychological adaptation, in any adaptation, we need at least 3 months to to find the tune. Right now we are struggling, we're still finding the tune. If we are still we cannot find the tune, try another 3 months. That means 6 months. And another 3 months, 9 months. It is after 12 months. If that is not right, the right way for you to have your time, your work, and your as a wife, as a mother, so means that you need to find another solution. Maybe working from office, maybe two days per week, for instance, if there's flexibility lah, so something that we need to know. You know your time best. You know what is good for your family. Definitely is a challenge. So don't feel bad. I do feel that, but that's why I'm reasoning myself. Oh, now I understand. The psychological adaptation is 3 months. The first 3 months memang struggle, okay, and try again lah. Because if we're able to bounce back, we are able to. You have your support from your husband, your maybe your kid with the kid smile. You know, this kind of sweet thing. You know, little things matter. Don't expect big things matter only. Small little thing. When it comes to the human interaction, it will ease everything, inshallah. So Puan Siti Mariam, I don't have the best answer for you, but I hope that you will pass this through adaptation. That this kind of adaptation, it differs from each other lah. It might be different, maybe fast for to you, but not fast to me. Okay, all right. I hope that's that answer lah. Thank you. All the best to us.
Thank you, Dr. Emma.
Okay.
Thank you, Puan Siti Mariam, for your question. Let's take another question. This question is from Miss Jill Raja. Can the admin enable Miss Jill so that she can ask questions to all the panel? Yeah. Hi, Jill. Are you there?
I'm trying. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can
Oh,
you
lovely.
introduce yourself?
Jill.
Hi. Thanks, everybody. Lovely to see you all. Listening to you all, it comes across very much that if we're to leave nobody behind, we have to ensure technology is equally distributed, including the very remote parts of Sarawak. And also we have to always remember it's about people's interaction, whether it's engaging education or helping people use the technology, which UNIMAS with eBarrio had a role in. But my question is, how, with all these challenges, do we enable more partnership to achieve this and make SDG agendas central to how we move forward? It was important before the pandemic. Now it gives us an opportunity to take it further, but also there's a huge risk that we're going to have more inequality. So that's my question. How do we work in partnership to meet these challenges?
Thank you, Jill. Yeah, so perhaps we can have our panel to deliberate on this, not only from the aspect of partnerships from education, but we also would like to know how should we enable more partnerships to achieve the SDG in terms of economics, education, and also emotional. Maybe we can have Prof. Hatta or Dr. Zaidi.
Okay, can I answer first? All right. Hi, Jill.
Hi.
Okay. My institution, I can call it my agency. All right, we are practicing these partnerships. When we develop our digital strategy for the state last 3 years, one of the things that we want to pursue is a center of excellence, whereby in this center of excellence, we promote the partnership with all the institutions and even to the NGO actually. All right. And then this institution, we are given them tasks like UNIMAS, we have given them tasks or whatever proposal that they forward to us, that to bring these rural people, what are the economic activities, and then we sponsor these activities, right? And then we even get them the material for this. And also the NGO, we are partner with Tegas, this Bumi Putra group, that pursue to this, bring the uh, new young people, millennial group to this digital economy, right? Then we even partner with our Miss World candidates in the long Saridan, right? This is how we can grow our SDG, and not just SDG by this NGO only. The government have to pledge. Of course, the government have to pledge with some money, all right? Not just effort, not just this idea. This is what our role here, Jill. There's my take here, Jill.
You.
Yeah, that's Maybe we listen to Prof. Atta's view on this.
Okay, thank you, Jill, for the questions. As we know that we cannot do it alone. We need to do a partnership collaboratively. The keyword is collaborative. So, so we need to collaborate with all agency that will able to assist the community. In the university itself, we do have we call that University for Society, in which that whatever program we try to engage community as well as other agency to work with the university to overcome some issue in community. So give example, now we are facing the pandemic, in which that a lot of issue we need to think together collaboratively so that we can we come with the one program in which that there are no one left behind. So in which we need to think critically how to solve this problem. We need to communicate. I think that's most important aspect. Another C that we need to do. So we need to communicate with all agency, all institution, all community NGO, so that we can have one outcome. And then how we can do it collaboratively and to create a creative and innovative value so that we solve the current problem. So the point here, the keyword here is collaborative and communication, and we create innovative. I think, as you know that I think SMA doing a great thing on this aspect. We can expand this not only in certain sector, economic, but also education, not in higher education, also in the primary and secondary education aspect. So not only that, I think how the social aspect, I think the emotional aspect, the health aspect of this SDG can be addressed. So I think the constituent actually we need to have a very cooperative and collaborative partner. I think SMA they have a very good base of the partner. I think we can leverage whatever we have at the moment, and then we can join all the agency that already want to contribute to the issue of the global, not only in Sarawak but also in Malaysia, other part of the world. If our program is quite successful, I believe that I think in UNIMAS we do have e-barrio previously, in which that the state and federal also contribute on how we can use this concept of e-barrio to other aspect of the area in this globe, not only in Sarawak, Kalimantan, whoever that need this approach, so that we working together. That is my view on this aspect, Gail. We cannot do it alone, but I think the best actually cooperative. I agree with you that I think we must put everybody in the same effort so that we can achieve more. I think that is my view.
Thanks, Prof. Atta. Dr. Emma?
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Jill. I think is a very important when you mention about this question. Yeah, collaboration with the partners. I think right now we have our NGOs. When talking about counseling, psychology services, and definitely UNIMAS is one of the strong partner. I would say I dare to say that strong partner to provide psychological and counseling services to Sarawak as well, to what they call that, to Malaysia, in Malaysia as well, international. So another thing is that maybe we can think ahead. For your information, for instance, counseling, there are counseling interventions module that maybe we can introduce to community, and then when the industry collaborate with us, with the NGO, and then we can implement and apply that counseling intervention in the community to enhance empowering the community itself. So I guess it actually right now we want to train the community as their own professional helper, because they are the frontliner to the community, yeah, before they get the professionals help from us. So I think definitely we can still communicate. We can develop the modules, the interventions for this community specifically, for the certain issue maybe, and the industry will come in, and then we can like work together. I guess that is the thing that I can think of. The things that we need to think ahead. It's not only one to one. I think we do have that. We are very aggressive to provide services one to one. Even right now in crisis, we have this tele-counseling, we have this e-counseling, and I bet, we are very pro on this matter. And now we want to educate our community, so let's go beyond. So counseling intervention, psychological intervention, let's together, the industry, the university, and the NGOs work together so that we can have this design for community, then everyone will have that opportunity. So I guess no one will leave behind, will succeed the campaign. Thank you.
Thank you to all panel. Thank you to Ms.
Thank
Jim
you.
Raja for your question. So I would like to recap what we have discussed. Every day we listen to DG Ministry of Health mentioning about avoiding 3C, avoid crowded, confined, and close conversations. But today we listen to our Berbahagia Prof. Khatam also mentioned about 3C in ensuring the success of advocating the SDG, the importance of collaborate, communicate, and together to create a successful and more prosperous community. So I think that's it, that the time that we have today. Time flies very, very fast. It's 2 hours past already. And just to recap the poll that we posted just now, we have received feedback from our audience on the adoption of online learning. I would like to share with everyone who are still online. We still have our 152 participants online from the very beginning until towards the end. Thank you very much to all our audience who stayed with us for 2 hours. 94.2% agreed that adoption of online learning will persist even post-pandemic, and 5.8% say that it might not continue. But 94.2%, Prof and fellow panelists, so it's need to have a very strong digital inclusivity, Dr. Zaidi, to ensure
Sure. We're working hard now.
Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you to all panelists for such interesting deliberation on our topic today, and thank you to all our audience who stayed with us for the past 2 hours. Thank you for your input, comments, and questions that have helped us making today's forum a very engaging session with valuable knowledge exchange. I would like to also acknowledge the questions posted to us, even though we do not have time to address it, but rest assured we will address it, the remaining questions, in a separate post-forum platform. I would like to thank our technical team, Mr. Al-Hadi Bujang and CIDDS team of UNIMAS, Mr. Haslan and USC team as the secretariat of today's forum. So, ladies and gentlemen, as the world responds to this pandemic and seeks to restore global prosperity, let's also work together in addressing the underlying factors, the 3E, education, economy, and emotional, through the Sustainable Development Goals, to spearhead and spur us and to accelerate and deepen our efforts during this decade of action to recover better, build healthier, safer, fairer, and more prosperous world. So stay safe and take care, everyone. So thank you very much once again. See you soon. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Bye.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Bye.